Where do I begin?
The Marvel Cinematic Universe. Some good, some bad, some awful. No matter what, it's a franchise I'm still invested. Then come the Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you want to know what is happening in this horrifying shit show of a phase, I'm gonna let that person do the honors for me.
Hack writers might just try something else to fast-track that very same process, such as taking a beloved character, humiliating them over and over, only to present a new character for you to get behind. One that they fall in love with after a day. One that they celebrate and choose to die for. One that outclasses the very organization that humiliated our character in the first place. The one that gives them the chance to find their own strength and values. If you didn't like Sylvie and her storyline alone, perhaps she can borrow your appreciation for Loki by having him love her while explaining just that many times over. And what about another beloved character? One that made it through so much heartache after having to make a terrible choice, only to imprison and torture an entire town. She was saved and forgiven by Monica Rambeau, a woman that wouldn't give up. Even risking her life, she kept on trying to get through and eventually managed to reach our hero. Steve Rogers and Tony Stark were both shat on. It was said that the former abandoned Sharon Carter and the latter failed to support his team in life and death. Lucky for us, Falcon and Bucky managed to fix the mistakes of the long-gone heroes while accounting for a black man holding the shield, as Cap didn't even bother trying to understand what that meant. Which leads us here. A story that was supposed to celebrate and elevate Natasha Romanoff. Instead, she was sapped for all she was worth, assassinated thoroughly. Yelena is our new Black Widow. She was abandoned by Natasha to a life of pain and misery, but she escaped. She persevered. She also gave Natasha what she needed. She forgave her, and she killed Dreykov. She even considered Natasha a sister the whole time. She kept tabs on her. She commented on her life as an Avenger, and she paid her respect to Natasha's grave. You will like Yelena going forward. She is where your appreciation for Natasha must be transferred, as Nat could do nothing but hang her head in shame once the retcon made itself clear. Fuck you.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier first, because I have so much I want to talk about this offensive shit show.
Unity is currently working on his review of Run, Hide, Fight. Then he will work on a 6-part series on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Well, sorry about that. But now let's talk about Hawkeye. I can deal with this crap later. And now, looking into Hawkeye, final MCU show of 2021, I want to see is there any hope left. Any more dedication I will give to Phase 4 MCU.
A chance, maybe.
Cause this is such a depressing state of the MCU for me.
Wish I could get back the air in my lungs.
But let's see is there anything to hold on to. In the year 2012, a little girl climbs up to a wardrobe and listens to an air fan. As she listening to her parents arguing with each other, talking about their money issues, as they have to pay their debts. As it goes on, the little girl knocked the toy over, which is heard by both of their parents. So the dad goes up to check on her, as she's pretending to sleep, and he knows, telling her,
You shouldn't eavesdrop.
he's very certain about it, and that showcases this is not the first time she eavesdrops, as dropping a toy immediately gives him this response, as the little girl doesn't want to move, as she heard this from her mom.
Okay, we have to sell the penthouse.
No, we don't. That's...
What, an actual solution?
And her dad responds with
We don't have to.
a way to comfort her, but she still continues.
How do you know? Mommy said things don't just fall from the sky.
Refer to what her mom said about it.
You know, maybe growing up in this place, you got used to the idea that a solution will just fall out of the sky, but it won't, Eric.
Her dad agrees on her, but also adds,
Some people forget the one thing they can control. The choices they make in the face of it.
so what he basically said is, I won't sell your house no matter what, don't worry, to comfort her again, making her smile. But she isn't fully convinced yet. She asks,
What would you do in a hurricane?
and he said, well, it is spelled pretty clear, so I'm just gonna let him talk.
I would do what I always do. Protect you.
Yep, pretty clear. Rather than just subtly imply it to her. Which, if you ask me, that way, just saying it straight is actually better, as she's still just a little kid. Implying it won't give her the full picture. And just moments ago he implied, she still isn't completely convinced. So this is to make her absolutely sure. And to tell the audience, he absolutely cares about her. And will protect her no matter what. Even during the struggle of finance. From, I'm getting ahead of myself here. This conversation will make certain things later more impactful, as we understand their relationship here, and what it means to her, progressing to the person she's gonna be. Nice photo here, by the way. Then the dad leave the room.
I'll be downstairs in my office.
Remember that. On the next scene, the little girl and her mom is having lunch, with her mom doing this. Which is to cheer her up from eavesdropping the conversation. That makes her sad. It's just a little way to show that she cares about her. And show she doesn't have to worry about anything. And same for that.
Why don't you go grab the checkers, we can liven things up.
Which will lead to something else later. But just a moment before that.
Okay, I'm gonna go downstairs, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Something to note down for. As the little girl is getting the chest, something happens. As she panics and tries to call her parents. And that doesn't work because...
I'll be downstairs in my office.
Okay, I'm gonna go downstairs, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry kid. They are below the penthouse. By the way, if you're wondering why don't they hire a nanny to look after that kid.
Okay, we have to sell the penthouse.
No, we don't. That's...
What, an actual solution?
I don't need to explain to you why a nanny costs money, right? She looks up into the sky, just to see aliens attacking. People who follow the MCU will know what it is. The Avenger trying to stop the Loki invasion. Both took place in 2012, with the same army. The little girl trying to get downstairs to find her parents, but instead, she discovers something else. She looks outside to see what's happening, just to discover an alien trying to kill her. She doesn't have anything on hand, only can wait to be dead and being hopeless. Until... she looks again, just to see Hawkeye fighting aliens. Before I get into this episode more, I need to point out this one issue. I don't have issues with Clint. Out of everyone he saved, just so happens to be that little girl. This is a giant battle, he's gonna save a lot of people. And if the person he saves is another little girl, we're just gonna follow her instead. Also not, Clint being able to save her in this distance just in time. Clint is an highly trained archer being able to shoot anything. Being good at tracking things and shoot them down. Same as looking at things in the distance.
I gave you this detail so you could keep a close eye on things.
Well, I see better from a distance.
I also don't take issue with the timeline. But we can wait for that, as I have a lot to explain about that. So what do I take issue with? The Chitaurian trying to kill this little girl by ramping at her. That is just stupid. When that thing can just shoot at her with that ship, when it is in enough range to do so. But aside from that, I do like how this little girl looked up to Clint, which we will talk about it right after. When she is still looking, her mom arrives to pick her up, carrying her away from the house. As she's screaming, Daddy. Then we fade into the next scene. The little girl's dad, who cares about her, died during the invasion. As the little girl feels sad, she asks her mom,
What if they come back?
as an alien almost killed her, and it took away her father. That is reasonable to ask a kid her age. And her mom replies,
They won't come back.
that is to comfort her. But still in disbelief, the little girl asks,
How do you know?
her mom thinks a bit and looks into the sky, responding with,
Because the heroes showed them what would happen.
in reference of the Avengers defeating Loki and the invasion. Obviously the mom won't know whether they come back or not, but there is a way to cheer her daughter up, aligning with what we established her before. Let's continue with the scene.
And even though this is scary, I'm still the luckiest woman in the world. Because I have the greatest little girl in the world.
From those three lines you just said, it's also like the hero line before, more of an attempt to relieve her. Then she adds,
Who's not that little?
especially that little joke at the end. Don't want her to remember what happened too much, and lighten her spirit a bit. And what's more is the fact that her mom is saying that to her in the funeral of her husband. Meaning, she is doing that while keeping a brave face, holding down her sadness for that attempt, adding up how much she cares about her daughter on top of it. And also, when she said that line to her, it also means something to her, as the little girl will grow from all this, acknowledging the world much more, as the mom knows this invasion has effects on her, and a good way to proceed the little girl's next line.
I need to protect us.
That's the effect. That is something similar said by her father.
What would you do in a hurricane?
I would do what I always do. Protect you.
Turning from the mom's character moment to a little girl, as the loss of her father, who she inspires from, made her doesn't want this situation to happen again, a hint of what she will do in the future. But her mom tells her,
It's my job. Whatever you need, I'm here for you.
now is another moment for her mom. Motivated by the death of her husband,
You got a daughter to think of.
much more motivated by the death of her husband, she doesn't want her daughter to worry about anything, and will do anything to protect her, which will hint to something later. After the mom said this to a little girl,
Whatever you need, I'm here for you.
after she thinks a bit herself, she confidently looked to her mom. And this is what she needs.
I need a bow and arrow.
And that is a great line. This one line summarizes everything about a little girl. In a surface level, it acts as a meta line for the audience who know the source material to anticipate the real identity of the little girl and see it on screen. Now to look at the line closer, this line is the first thing she thinks of, the thing used by Clint Barton, that he used to save her life. That inspired her to do so as well. And also, it also says the little girl looked up to Hawkeye. As out of everything she chooses to protect people, she chooses a bow and arrow. Just like Clint Barton. As for why she's prepared to do all this, he inspires Kate to be like him, seeing him saving people without any superpowers, and all he has is a bow and arrow, without the need of being afraid anymore, and to do what's right no matter the cost. That is mentioned later, by the way. Something screw on in future episodes, to strengthen and boost this line. There will be so much more to explore about her.
I need a bow and arrow.
I have something I want to address first. Starting off with the smaller one. Why can't the little girl hear her mom here, or any time beforehand, without the need of carrying her to run away? She can shout in the distance. She can call her anytime here, assuming that you think there's a home phone here in this house. There are explosions, lasers, fighting everywhere. Thanks to a hole in the house, that she has to hear all this. Oh, yeah. She is hyper-focused on Clint for minutes. I will explain that later. Being focused is a thing that drowns sound. Like her watching Clint fighting, especially with all the battle noises here. No shouts or phone calls can be heard. And the penthouse is really big, by the way. That with the smaller one. Now a bit larger one. Why isn't her mom here to pick her up sooner? Her husband died. The person she knows for at least 10 years. That will definitely hold the other partner down. Stopping them? And not think things rationally. Delaying the action sooner. When the other one died. And she knows it. When the little girl asks her mom about daddy, she has no response. If the daughter's father died, especially you're her mother, I don't think you're able to tell her. If you move a bit before,
We have to get out of here.
from that sound and delivery here, sounds like she's hiding her pain, but has to save her daughter first. Is it because of something? A look back from before?
I'll be downstairs in my office.
Okay, I'm gonna go downstairs. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds like they are together at that time. Everyone put their kitchen in the lowest floor of their house, by the way. So she's going lower than her house. And she lives on a penthouse. And a penthouse is a really big house on top of a building with only one elevator. If you're wondering how she can go lower than her house, do I really need to say all this? Also, back before...
Okay, we have to sell the penthouse.
No, we don't. That's
What, an actual solution?
That is the reason why she will be downstairs talking to her husband. Especially their daughter eavesdrops here. That is something I will think and talk about in the office. If you're wondering why is there an office inside a building of the little girl's dad,
My great-great-great-great-grandfather built the building.
basically her dad owns the building.
Maybe growing up in this place, you got used to the idea that a solution will just fall out of the sky.
I can believe there's an office here. So her dad can run this building, as it's passed on by generations. Only one parent picked the little girl up, by the way, instead of two. Yeah, and that is why she can witness his death and delay her action here. This one is done. And now for the big one. Is there really a timeline inconsistency here? I mean the invasion started earlier. 30 minutes before Clint in this position to save her. The time she got down and having Clint save her, it's only 1 minute and 37 seconds in between. That is inconsistent, right?
I think there's something you should know.
Let me show you all the specific details of Hawkeye and the Avengers. Can you see this? It's in the scene of the little girl got saved, like this in the Avengers. That is before Clint shot Loki, exploding him, and hitting S&T in his dark tower. Look, the S&T is still right there in Hawkeye. And that is before the zipline jump. Yeah, there's a time jump, when the little girl is watching Clint for several minutes. So it's really between here and here. It's really just 11 minutes apart. But it's still too long, yeah?
Take these lies and make them true.
I'm not even done yet. Do you remember this line in Avengers?
Send the rest.
You heard that right. He really only sent a small number at the beginning. Of course, some people in the city would miss that. Even the Avengers show it. Until the entire force came down. Especially a 10-year-old with no parents in the house. Until a big invasion came in. The Leviathan in the air is proof already. The time between here and here is really just a minute and 40 seconds. It's actually even faster. Between here and Tony picking Clint to be on this building, it's just 19 seconds. So when the little girl is running down, Clint is here already. Especially Tony's armor travels really fast. That is 97 seconds versus 20 something seconds. This happening actually makes sense. But I don't blame people for missing it. You need to look very closely to both stories first, in order to find out this actually works. Very great attention to detail, writers. Even I miss it, until in the middle of editing. Dealt with the big one. The little girl scenes are over. But there is one more thing I want to talk about before I move on. The deleted scene. Inside showcases the little girl's dad got home and the little girl surprises him. And I assume it's planned to put in the beginning of the episode, as the car here is a move, and it's the first thing she did, but the scene is cut. There are some pros in this deleted scene. It physically shows the little girl is athletic, and even mentions a bit more herself.
What's that from?
Huge scooter jump over a subway grate.
Also shows that she's adventurous.
Can I go ziplining?
When you're bigger.
If you move towards future events, it supports her ability and action in the future a bit more, as the episode only has these two moments to support it, and physically showing it and expressing it is a bit better. Also this line.
I'm not little.
You are little, but you're mighty.
That will pack a bit more punch when she said this later.
Who's not that little?
As it has set up. And really, that's about it. The deleted scene did show a bit more father-daughter time. It might add a bit more impact for some people when he died. But as for what they talk about here, it's just... Hey, what did you do on your trip? I go ziplining, it's fun! I would love to do that someday. Doesn't really say anything. Unlike the heart-to-heart convo here. It also says the little girl is kinda creative and smart, which they showcase in the episode when she used the air fan to eavesdrop, which is even more efficient and less time. And also, it adds a contrivance. So her dad came back from the trip in the same day, not long after aliens invade. So he will be dead. What are the fucking odds? Imagine he arrives after invasion, not inside the building when it collapses. He won't be dead, and she won't inspire from him. Just an hour late is enough. I can understand why it's a cut. And I do think the little girl section is better when the scene is deleted. The positive it adds in is not very much, and the establishment takes longer time, and even less effective. Especially its longer repeated info. Also adding a major problem in this great section. Glad it is removed. And now, opening credits. We got an image of the mom giving a bow and arrow to a little girl, as she practiced archery but not very good at it. If you take a look back from before, the little girl has an interest of sports, and has been training before that. Starting archery now isn't too hard for her, but even that, she still has a lot to learn, and train day and night for it. Unfortunately, still not very good. But I still applaud her for not giving up, practicing and training no matter when. After years of practice, she eventually succeeds. A character that is trained since young, not very good at it, and keep practicing archery whenever until she succeeds. This is some very good stuff for her. I like that. Yeah, I don't have an issue with her pulling a triple bullseye. She's rich, and can easily hire the best teachers, earning this skill by training for years. Same thing for other skills, both martial arts and fencing. She failed at both of them at first, but after some time in training, she finally nailed both of them. Those are what she gained, or reasonably achieved, and she will keep trying and stand up. Unlike St. Marvel's Katie, At best having a few hours of training and somehow nailing 3 bullseyes in a row. Also able to nail a dragon at the end with just few hours of training. Like how? I recommend you guys watch this video by saying watch. Right below. Back to the sequence. She's also good at ballet, gymnastics and parkour. Those are nice skills she can use in the future. The montage showcases her mom standing right next to her. Showcases she will support her daughter no matter what, which is a pretty neat character moment for her in this sequence. There is a picture of her and her father next to those awards, putting on the fact that she still remembers and inspires from him, which is also a very nice moment as well. Like other details, it showcases why this montage is a great sequence. Now we get to present day, as we open up with a girl trying to pick the lock of a building, but she ultimately failed. Who is she? So in the other way around it, she decided to climb up the building, until she reached the top. Kate Bishop, which is the little girl in the beginning, played by Hailee Steinfeld, who's she's so hot. Nothing. I didn't do anything. Let's get back to Hailee in the show. Kate answers the phone, revealing what they are doing is a bet. As for what the bet is,
Does the bell swing back and forth, or does the dangly thingy in the middle swing back and forth?
as for both of their positions,
It's obviously the bell.
See? I would disagree. I think it's the dangly thingy.
so the place she's aiming at is in the middle and inside the bell. She grabbed a tennis arrow and ready to fire, with her friend asked Kate,
But are you sure that arrow won't damage it?
and her response is simple,
No.
making it clear that nothing she knows. Is there anything else I forgot to mention before that?
Nice outfit, by the way, Kate.
Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta dress the part.
Yeah, I do like it when Hailee dressed the part. Please show more than just this, please. Please?
We'll sip some more tea about other people.
Fire she goes! Okay, but I do think it's neat in my POV. Kate is good, but doesn't mean she won't fail. And if you go back before, she can lockpick, which will also be proven in future episodes. But can't do it to doors that are too strong for her. Like the main door of the building, which is a neat detail. Just like her archery.
Well, that was a bit of a letdown.
But I just playing a game in a way, trying to win that life.
So she do it again to win the bet. Stay calm and aim. And release. She hit! Hooray! But something unexpected happened. That's weird. Does the bell just drop like that? After around like 15 swings in a row? Maybe he hasn't been swinging that long. And the tower is old. Like 1725 old. Which should explain how he collapsed that easily. But if that's the case, I just question why is there a rope inside? To prevent people swinging it and collapse it. But consider that doesn't affect plot and characters moving forward. Really, besides.
I would offer to buy you a hotel, but my mom canceled my credit cards due to the whole clock tower.
Doesn't really change anything. I say that's a minor problem. And hey, the tower is made by Obadiah Stane. Remember him?
Ironic, Tony! Trying to rid the world of weapons! You gave it its best one ever!
After this, she is then caught. I want to explain just in case you're wondering how did she get found. Do you know how loud she talked?
Oh my god, that was amazing! Wow!
You see it? In this place she stand. Anyone can see her draw a bow for 17 seconds. Especially, cheering while raising a bow in the air. This girl seems to be inside a building to hear that as well. Anyone can see and put 2 and 2 together. A girl on a rooftop using a bow and arrow. In the night, facing the tower the time it collapsed. Actually even before that. And now Kate got caught. But she didn't try to run away. Even convinced herself to face that. That part is neat to me. It shows Kate taking responsibility for action. Doesn't run away from things. When she's the one causing it. Able to have people get behind her character more. Same for everything else in the entire scene. For what they established here for Kate, she's fearless, but doesn't think about consequence. She's good, but still fails. What's more for that about herself? She might be risk-taking as she's done all this for a bet. She even knows she would cut off the archery team if she got caught.
Kate, careful. If we get caught, you're definitely gonna be kicked off the archery team.
That is a consequence of this happening. Her trying to take control of the situation, leading to things backfire on her. I know, she even quips and laughs off a bit, but she took responsibility for all of this.
Oh, I faced my sins, and I wish it was easy.
Despite she has a lot more to learn, she has all the good foundation and characteristics to become a hero. And in what I said before, very interested to see how her journey will go. Cut to the next scene, inside a musical theater, having a musical about the fight of the first Avengers team up. Inside the audience has Clint Barton and his family, watching the stage play. I like watching musicals, it's fun, I like the songs. Clint doesn't seem to agree with me, but Hailee does.
Rogers the Musical. Tell me you were on set to see that.
I was not. I was not, and I was devastated by it, to be honest. And when I saw it back, I was like, this would be the type of thing that I wouldn't mind seeing a few times, you know what I mean? I mean, Jeremy probably feels differently after he had to hear that probably 100 times, but yeah, it was amazing.
Amazing. I think they missed a trick not including at least a couple of the Barden Bellas in there.
A little cross.
Next time.
Yeah, maybe.
I would love to see that.
Baby, I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. I love cheap thrills. I could do this all. Baby, I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. I love cheap thrills.
Yeah, let's just get back on topic. When the musical got to the part of Natasha Romanoff, he doesn't feel comfortable about it. Remember in Endgame? He watches his best friend died in order to save the universe. His daughter calls him, but he has no response until she waves in front of him. As he turns his hearing aid back on, reveal that he lost his hearing.
Dad?
Well, almost. But his intentions of turning a hearing aid off, just by seeing a person playing that,
Did you turn your hearing aid off?
shows that he still struggles with her death, even some time later. Turning the sound off without a distraction, making him understand his own feelings to Nat, as others may not be able to understand. That is also said later.
I know everyone misses her, but she was your best friend.
Now let's continue.
No, honey, I know what happens. I was there.
That mentioned by him of his time in Avengers to fight against aliens is to try to tell her daughter that he's fine even though he's not. Of the trauma he has from Nat.
You knew who wasn't there. It's that guy. Ant-Man.
Now he's pointing stuff in the musical, being more confident than his last sentence, diverting her attention elsewhere, wants her to kind of forget, and don't need to worry about him, but having it himself, showing how much he cares about his family.
You look pretty cool, though. That's a plus.
That line says something about his daughter. That line shows that she appreciates her father, of both saving the world,
That's a plus.
and as her dad.
You look pretty cool, though.
But appreciate as her dad more, as being a hero is just a plus to her.
You look pretty cool, though. That's a plus.
Also shows that she understands what he's dealing with. Not only what he said before doesn't really work on her, as she's trying to divert his thought as well, from Black Widow's actress to Hawkeye's actor, hoping he won't focus on that, showing she cares about him as well. But after just a bit later, he can't handle it, and has his focus back on the Black Widow actress. He just can't handle it, and decides to go to the bathroom to escape. That, two of his kids notice it. The older sister decides to hold arm of her little brother. That's a neat little moment. She cares for him, and will protect her family when her dad is not around. That is nice. Clint heads to the bathroom and sees... Who the fuck will support this?
We can't let the same arseholes who were put back in power after the blip win. The GRC care more about the people who came back than the ones who never left. We got a glimpse of how things could be. I need to know that you're all committed, because after tomorrow there's no going back.
What?
What kind of shitty ideology is this? Thanos saying half the universe is right? Just because it benefits you.
Another flash forward to Sam walking around a Flag Smasher refugee camp. Everyone is ignoring him when he asks about Mama Danya, because of course they would. He comes across a teacher who talks about how he doesn't believe that Sam would be able to help him because there was once a time when he went to the GRC and asked them to send teachers 6 months ago, and they got nothing.
That's it?
You fucking egomaniacal piece of shit. You don't trust Sam because the GRC didn't help you out. So your solution was to join a terrorist organization like the Flag Smashers as a result. Because the lack of fucking teachers? The organization that was just on the news about burning a supply facility with innocent people. But it's fine because they were GRC members. And let's talk about how this dickhead was sad that the GRC wasn't able to provide him with more teachers. Well, guess what, you fuck? You were alive during the 5 years. You currently have food, water, and shelter. You seem to have some sort of staffing system in place. Carly said she wanted to be a fucking teacher before, but no, GRC bad. This teacher is more accommodated compared to half of the world. The people that would need the attention from the GRC, and it makes sense why they would, you entitled piece of shit.
Watch the Carly video by Red Diviosa. Link is right below. The time Clint sees that retarded line. I don't mind people making that line, by the way. People do that a lot in bathrooms. A person approaches him, asking a selfie to show his kids. That is just like a girl waving and noticing him in the beginning, showing that people recognize Clint in the public. Besides just that, this scene doubles as a comedic moment. A girl asking for a selfie when they're in the bathroom, when they are doing stuff. Clint responds,
"No, it's not really the appropriate time."
And go to wash his hands. Then...
Now a better time.
Yeah, I like that. That's kinda funny. With Clint's right sense of humor, the joke doesn't drag on. That's pretty neat. But in all honesty, this scene does not add anything to the plot or characters. It's just for a joke, and a tidbit of world building that's gonna reaffirm and add more later. So, let's just get to the next moment about the family. Clint walks out of the theater, staying down in front of the door, taking breaths, is what the theater reminds him of. His daughter walks out.
Hey, are you okay?
Hey, Lila. Let's see how he respond.
Yeah. I just want to come out for some fresh air, is all.
Yep, good respond. Tell his daughter not to worry about him. Despite it's very obvious that he's not, from the actions he's doing outside, even struggling to answer her. So that's why her daughter say this.
You know, it's fine if you don't want to watch the show. I mean, I know everyone misses her, but she's your best friend.
On the surface, it might be a bit blatant to spell all this out, especially we've seen that already without telling. But, give it more of a thought. The reason she spelled it all out to her father is to show him that she knows what her father is dealing with. Saying it to him, you don't have to hide this from me, I know. It's reasonable to achieve by saying what and why he left the theater. Showing her empathy to her father without the need to hide from her. Cheering him up as she understands him, even when he thinks it's not the case, as he turns his earpiece off. In the theater. Focus on that. She is his best friend. There's a trade offer that will stay longer than just here. It is in character exposition that shows off character traits and develop relationship. And there is still more from this line.
I know everyone misses her, but she's your best friend.
That is such a nice moment. As when Lila said,
I know everyone misses her, but
that is everyone who misses Natasha, including herself. Personally know her when she's young. Then when she proceeds the line,
she's your best friend.
She can't finish the sentence. Not only she stopped herself to trigger more for her father, that he's still traumatized from, turning the earpiece off in the theater, just by watching a person playing that, which his daughter sees it. But also, she also misses her, as she unable to talk and looks down. In response from him, he hugs and kisses her, to make her feel better, and thanking her, even though he's the one experiencing worse. Those are great moments, to bond relationship and develop characters, made from just one piece of dialogue from the script, and respect Natasha way more than her own fucking movie.
They sterilize you. It's efficient. One less thing to worry about. The one thing that might matter more than a mission.
They just get right in there and they chop them all away, everything out.
Okay.
So you can't have babies.
You don't.
How the fuck did anyone think that you're a good character? You will be dealt with.
This whole thing is a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
A lot ridiculous.
That is a neat exchange. Turning from a bonding before made by a sad memory to one they can laugh about. Plus the fact that the line said by Clint is used to cheer his daughter up when they are thinking about the same thing beforehand. making her forget about that. Showing his priority is family first, then his own personal feelings, when he can share it together longer. Instead, he chose the other option. Now his other kids came out, moving away from the theater, to show what their mom is missing. As they leave, Kate got back to the house to meet her mom. Yes, moms in Phase 4 that has something to do with the heroes. I mean heroes. One mom tortured and enslaved an entire town. One doesn't care about the fate of the entire world. One created mind control serum, using it to control millions, and mind manipulating them to kill people. Somehow they are treated as good people. Let's see how she goes in the entire show. They start off by hugging each other, with Kate asking why she's dressing so fancy. She said,
Charity auction.
Ugh.
let's break it down. Going back before,
Are you in the city? Will you come here first, please? Jack's over. I wanted to talk to you about something.
so Kate doesn't know about the auction thing beforehand, as she's just back from the city, from the US Martial Arts Championship that would be set later. A bit weird timing, as the time you come back is the same day as the mom's auction, but we don't know how long the tournament is, so to be honest, it can just last for a few hours. And it's Christmas, so the timing won't be that long. Her mom calls her, so she might be expected to come back, although her daughter doesn't know about the party. I mean, you can assume that, but it's still confusing to think about. A quick fix is just, don't use sports championship with no evidence, and find another way to make this character moment. Like the championship is not immediately after, and she's doing something else that is more reasonable. But we will get to that. Back to the line, Kate's response,
Ugh.
from what happens later, shows that she doesn't want to go there. And yeah, that's kinda it. Let's just move on.
I know, right? All those poor people and nonprofits relying on the more fortunate.
Interesting. And no, I am not going political about that. It's just what he says character-wise. Let's see the next response to understand that.
That is not what I meant, and you know it.
So all that really means is, she also doesn't want to go to the auction. Okay. These 4 lines really doesn't say anything to the characters. It's just fun dialogues and say I like each other. Even though they did the later already right from the start.
I don't want words that mean nothing. Oh.
Let's keep playing.
As much as I love having you home for the holidays, I'm not thrilled that I'm about to replace an irreplaceable clock tower.
Isabel Tower.
That is something. Confronted by her mother, from the bad thing she did before, what shows it right here? She is saying it in guilt, while correcting her mother. Still feeling responsible for that, but retaining some level of confidence. Yeah, it is a bell tower.
What can I do to make it better, Mom?
Yeah, that's good. Kate asking for responsibility for her action, attempting to fix her mistakes, paying for what she did, as this will really matter for her in the future. This sentence is a great moment for a character.
I started by canceling your credit cards, and we're going to have a much longer talk about this tower that you destroyed without joking.
That is consequence. She accepts, even though she doesn't want to from her face. Canceling credit cards may not look like a big deal, but when you're dealing with rich kids, well... it is for rich people. Like her face right here. There is still more.
We're going to have a much longer talk about this tower that you destroyed without joking.
Without joking.
I know, right? All those poor people and nonprofits relying on the more fortunate. That is not what I meant, and you know it.
So this means something now. Eleanor is willing to joke and have fun with her daughter, but will get serious when she has to. Yeah, we're learning more about her. Even fixes some of the lines.
I know that young people think they're invincible, and rich people think they're invincible, and you have always been both, so take it from someone who hasn't. You're not.
Now looking at it, what is being said is obvious. Kate is overconfident, and sometimes do things without thinking, will lead to a downfall, so that her mom warns her about it.
You will get hurt, so please don't go out looking for it.
Which is neat. Take a look at this. In the beginning I just showed you. Kate wanted to say something, but she couldn't, as she knows her mom is right. That she is not invincible and you have to take responsibility for your action. She doesn't want to respond to that, like she did previously.
I'm about to replace an irreplaceable clock tower.
Isabel Tower.
Shown a bit of change right there. As for what her mom said,
so please don't go out looking for it.
It reaffirms the idea that she just wants to protect Kate, even after the fact that she just complained about her daughter, adding more impact in the fact that she just wants to protect her. That is a good moment for her mom.
And rich people think they're invincible, and you have always been both, so take it from someone who hasn't. You're not. You will get hurt. So please, don't go out looking for it.
Now that I think about it, that might be hinting to something later. But is that better or for worse? We'll find out eventually.
Sorry.
A moment of looking down with regret. She apologized. In fact, twice.
Sorry.
Knowing her mom concerns about her well-being. Understand her choice here as consequence. I mean, she also took responsibility here without running away. But she also did. That apology shows all the growth of her in the conversation.
It was about to have a much longer talk about this. You will get hurt.
Sorry.
Not to mention she says sorry.
Without joking.
Great moment.
You get that from your father, you know.
A mention of her father by her mom. With Kate still looking up to him.
Some people forget the one thing they can control. The choices they make in the face of it.
Yeah, I understand why. She did choose to take responsibility right here. With her mom believe she really means it. Aside from this, another small thing to point it out. She still hasn't forgot her ex-husband, Derek. Even after she decided to, I will get to that very soon, just wait. The mention ends with Kate taking a deep breath. As she knows her mom forgave her, putting away all the stress she has inside.
Why don't you start making it up to me by putting on that red dress in your bedroom and coming with me tonight?
That is just a simple request by her mother, and which she accepts, despite the fact that she doesn't want to go there in the first place.
What are you looking all fancy for?
Charity auction.
Ugh.
But willingly doing it here to pay back what she did. As you know, after her mom teaches and worries about her, it's the least she can do. That is neat. There's also one more thing. Hailee in a red dress. That is a Dickinson reference and I want to see it. Please show that later, please.
US Open Martial Arts Championship.
You're amazing. I still remember when you got your black belt at 15.
Even after punishing her and teaching her lessons, she is still her mom. We'll point out her achievement and compliment her. Soften what she just said before by cheering her daughter up. That is in line with what we established for her.
But she didn't know I could do this.
Remember that is after she feels out about money problems. Even if she could be harsh, she can still be happy for her in given chances. But in all honesty, it is used for a reminder for future payoffs. But they did it in an in-character way that adds to their relationship.
We might have to retire some from when you were little to make room, huh?
I like those.
You too.
Serving as the end of the conversation, with quips and sarcasm, like they did before. But inside this context, it's after her mom teaching her a lesson, then try to make her feel better. Showcase the relationship are still fun even after that, no matter how worried and disappointed she is beforehand. That's a good way to end the talk right there, by parallel how it starts in a different context. Wait, so a joke you start in the conversation actually means something after all. Not to mention, with this conversation nailing the mother-daughter relationship.
And really explore the mother and daughter relationship that we haven't quite seen in the MCU.
That's a good step right there. Let's see how they keep up in the future. But the scene is not over yet. Kate sees a fuse ward in the background and asks about it.
Hun, there have been a few changes while you're away this semester.
Hold on a second. So the reason is semester and not championship, like she said here. That's the reason she's not in the city. Compared to sports championship, I say semester makes more sense and less contrived. At least since that semester, I know there's a thing called Christmas holidays. You can hang out with friends, or visit your parents again, which is better than sports competition. One during semester, as that has nothing to go by. A reasoning that lessens the issue a lot more. That's the fix I suggest. Good job.
Jack.
Yeah, a new character. Pretty charming and charismatic he is. Let's see.
An unexpected surprise.
All surprises are unexpected.
Can't be right, is it?
Kinda awkward about it. As Kate pointed out and he doesn't know how to respond. Later we'll reveal he doesn't know how saying goes. It's really just a small thing, but I like that.
Nice to see you again, Katie.
That was in your mouth.
So it was.
Taking note of this, Jack politely gives Kate the rose, but she doesn't accept it. I mean, that could just be hygiene. But then you remember something right before?
An unexpected surprise.
All surprises are unexpected.
Talking bad at him, despite being a natural thing to say. That moment of the rose reveals Kate hasn't fully accepted Jack yet. Or else, she would not say this line and take the roles already. Oh, respect with no excuse. Especially they know each other beforehand.
Jack.
Nice to see you again, Katie.
That setup will play a part in the future. Then her mom goes to the party with Jack, leaving Kate to think about it herself.
And I buy myself flowers.
You look like a maniac. You're a total crazy person.
That's a group meeting in the dinner table, with Clint and his family, having fun laughing together, from his naive little son.
Why is everyone singing and dancing about everything?
I don't know.
Pretty cute.
4 more crabs? What do you think?
I could eat 3.
No.
Come on, Dad. You ordered food for like 30 people.
You're gonna puke if you have any more. And if he pukes, you two are cleaning it up.
I'm not cleaning it up.
That is some brother-sister conversation. But there is still stuff to talk about here.
4 more crabs? What do you think?
I could eat 3.
No.
Come on, Dad. You ordered food for like 30 people.
You're not a brother's kid, isn't it? As the reasoning to order more crabs is because you ordered food for 30 people already. So why not order more? That's why his sister responds like this.
You're gonna puke if you have any more. And if he pukes, you two are cleaning it up.
Yeah, that's the correct response. And you're the brightest kid. Consider they play a role of my ordering more crabs. Yeah, of course they should be the one cleaning up. And then
I'm not cleaning it up.
you're supposed to be the older brother.
And fuck off, please.
Now I understand something that will happen in the next episode. Still a pretty interesting conversation. Clint suggests to go and see a Christmas tree after dinner, which they all agree.
Oh, wait.
Who's at the end of the phone?
Hey, guys.
It's Clint's wife, played by Linda Cardellini. Damn. This guy is lucky. She asked about Avenger show.
It's over. It was big.
We left halfway through.
There you go. There you go.
Said bluntly by a naive kid. That will be related to a future payoff. I like it, it's pretty charming.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier if you were here. And it'd be less likely to strangle these kids.
Well, the whole point was for you to get some alone time with the kids.
No, I'm kidding. You're actually having a really good time.
Let's also talk about that. Clint doesn't have enough time to spend with his family after the snap situation, actually also in general. So he goes to New York, a place he works and knows pretty well, fighting people, killing aliens and protecting the city and whatnot. The main headquarters is the Avengers Tower in New York, where he hangs out with friends and works shit out. Well, at least before he's retired. Yeah, he knows about here the most. It's understandable he chose New York to spend time with them. Most popular city in US. Best place for a holiday. And they're here to watch a musical. And this is where Broadway is.
He actually is in New York for a very specific reason, and that's because he's been invited to Rogers the Musical. And all of the Avengers got invited, but no one showed up except for Clint.
You shouldn't even said that. That is the behind-the-scenes explanation. I'm glad it's nowhere to be found in the show. Not only is it understandable even without it, it even creates more problems to the story. Even if you don't like song and dance, I would assume you want to see your friend again. So let no Avengers beside Clint show up, or else the plot will be changed. I'm glad it is cut. Fuck it, after saying all of this, Clint being at this place and day is still just a starting point of the story. He won the lottery, and still just why this all happens. Both him and Kate won actually. No plot explanation is needed for now, until the plot is happening. Then, please tell me the cause and effect. Don't drive things by luck. But the lottery will not change the character or continuity. That is something they have to keep consistency even in the starting point of the story. Issues I will indeed criticize. The problems of this explanation. Let's get back on the moment.
No, I'm kidding. You're actually having a really good time.
They are joking and having fun with each other.
Easier if you were here. And it'd be less likely to strangle these kids.
Even when things are more active, like openly throwing towels at each other, they are still smiling and don't mind. Really showing how well their family is right there. Also mentioning that his older brother also decided to throw towel. That's a bit more for his character. You're kinda childish like that.
She's an idiot.
That as well. We will get to that important moment in the next episode. When I talk about it.
See you. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow.
With everyone saying bye to her, Clint asked their family what they want to do when they got back home. With their list,
Gingerbread house.
Christmas movie marathon.
Ugly sweaters?
he's gonna do all this together, as a family. That's sweet. I wonder what does that mean in the future. I just know for now it's a way to bond them together.
So nice. Thank you.
Oh, no, that's not necessary.
It's necessary. You saved our city.
Thank you.
That moment, Clint helped saving the city in the Avengers, is being appreciated, which makes sense. Being an Avenger saving the world, despite after retirement, is still something people recognized. Neat detail. Good way to end this pretty nice scene as well. Contrast to this.
We're just standing here
Just
talking.
give him your ID.
No, I'm not giving him shit. We're just talking.
Hey, look, is this guy bothering
No,
you?
he's not bothering me. Do you know who this is?
How the fuck did no one notice you? Relax, I'm here for Hawkeye, but I'm saving all my energy. Just wait. To the party scene. I want to see her in a red dress right now. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Get back to work.
Wait, I'm confused. Where's her red dress? Unlike this waitress outfit. Oh yeah, for the plot later. But even despite that, then don't tease her red dress if that's the case. Cause I am so sad right now. But let's talk about this issue sooner.
Get back to work.
I mentioned earlier this is for a future payoff. But at the same time you have that.
Why don't you start making it up to me by putting on that red dress in your bedroom and coming with me tonight?
I mean yeah, that lies a good character moment. But it doesn't match well here. Out of nowhere she just wears a waitress outfit? And why a waitress outfit? If she didn't plan to wear this, what are the odds she just so happens to be matching one? My head is shaking. And the fix of this issue is actually pretty easy. Just a single line. Instead of telling her to put on a red dress right here, I will change. Have her as a waitress in the auction as a further punishment. Having a rich kid doing lower class work is a great way to punish her. Especially once that took more energy than she used to. I'd rather her job is to be a stripper in the party actually. Just move on. A person approaches her.
Armand Duquesne.
You got a name, but what is his deal?
You used to come to my brownstone for brunch.
Oh, build your own Blintz bar.
Precisely.
So they both know each other before. Hence also her mom. I wonder what does that mean later.
You know, it's unfair. I never looked that good in a tuxedo in my life.
He's a dashing gentleman. That's a bit of something for him.
I'd appreciate it if you wear something a little more ladylike for the wedding, so we won't be competing.
What wedding?
A wedding. That she's confused about. Just from a joke on Martell's. Compliment how good she looks. Yeah, it's just a harmless joke. Inside a party. That Kate also laughed. I don't understand why people think this is offensive. Not to mention, about your own agenda in media. I don't care.
Elena and Jack. God, those secretive little lovebirds.
Wedding from her mom to Jack. That she doesn't know about. She just got back from semester. Fair she doesn't know it.
I've done everything in my power to talk him out of it. When he gets something set in that little mind of his, he can be quite determined.
Armand doesn't support it. As for what is the reason, we have to wait.
Seems like he won the jackpot.
You think so? So does he. I'm not so sure.
Specifically directing to her mom as well. I wonder what that payoff is.
I want to go home. I'm bored.
That's no way to talk, Armand. That's not the way you were brought up. Come and say hello to Miss Bishop.
This is the final moment we'll talk about in this conversation, as there's nothing to talk about afterwards. Yeah, Armand is a gentleman here. Even after showing distrust to her mom, he still told the kid he's with to respect and say hello to Kate. That's not much, but I'll take what I can get. Also, see this kid right here? That's gonna explain something in the future. Yeah, we can move on now. There's really nothing to talk about besides a bit of characters and plot details. Kate gave a face of unnerving and disbelief, small but neat reaction, then walked to her mom, bluntly telling her,
I don't know, Mom. This is just like fast.
That's pretty good. Kate got back from semester only knew that from another person. It's reasonable to bluntly ask, especially if she felt unnerving disbelief beforehand. Even need to think of a word between sentences. Not to mention feeling all of a sudden. She's still not completely accepting Jack, and still reminisces of her father, having both past and future references.
You get that from your father, you know.
My dad was fearless, and his whole life was about helping people.
I believe Kate will feel that way.
Is there a part of you that could be happy for me?
Yes.
The only way she can answer. Even doesn't feel good about the fact. Even have to pause before answering. That is still her mom. They support each other, even if she doesn't like it.
What can I do to make it better, Mom?
I started by canceling your credit cards.
Or how uncomfortable it is. she will still support her choice.
Whatever you need, I'm here for you.
That is what it leads to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wanted to tell you first. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go get some air, Mom.
I understand, yeah.
Going outside to take a breather from what just happened. It is so fast and sudden. Doesn't feel too well about it. Even after she said sorry.
Charity auction.
Ugh.
Also that.
Then come back and find me, okay? Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Kate walks out the party and saw a dog. A cute little doggy. Hello doggy. Bye doggy. Kate get back inside right after the dog leaves and heard something. Let's see what are those. Yeah, you saw those subtitles and you can't hear that from the actual show. What is being said right here is Armand knowing something about Eleanor, that there is something more about her empire, but Kate could not hear what they said, clearly. It is fun she's confused.
Mom, what was that about? Is that guy threatening you?
It is pretty blurry for her, but there are still a bit of things. You guys are talking with the door open in a public auction about your private stuff. I mean, I get Armand. He is willing to confront her and later share it to her fiancé. He will do it even more harshly. It's fine he doesn't care about the door is open. But for Eleanor, consider what is her context later. With what Armand knows, you should absolutely close the door. The other thing, the location they're arguing is pretty near the door. Consider the size of the location of the auction. I don't have an issue if Kate stumbled across right at that moment. She only got outside for like 34 seconds. It's fine she heard during mid-conversation. It's really rare they choose to argue.
Back and find me, okay? Yeah.
I did tell you to keep that in mind. It is a bit better, but still not enough for this moment. Let me give it a little tweak. To make it work better, I will close the door right here. Kate can still hear it, because they got here during the argument, like she did when she's young. Not to mention, she notices Armand's voice, and her mom's. As for a location thing, I will do this by adding more from
Back and find me, okay? Yeah.
tell her to go to a specific room to help with the makeup, dressing, or some shit. Maybe even a bell tower conversation they say they will have. Also make Armand and Eleanor talk longer. And you got yourself a fix. Kate will still notice them, from how short she stayed outside. Moving on. Kate asks her mom what is that about. She responds with, I have no idea. Still finding the situation weird, she turns back and follows Armand, despite her mom telling her to get back to the party. With Kate's hero at that point,
I would do what I always do. Protect you.
I need to protect us.
Mom, what was that about? Is that guy threatening you?
that is an understandable choice, which is later in character. Jack leaves at the same time when Kate follows Armand to a kitchen.
Gary wants you to bring these down right away.
Just these two?
These two.
Yeah, keep that in mind. Kate follows Armand to the auction, which is underground apparently. She saw Armand sitting down there, with Jack coming in.
This seat is taken.
First reaction he has. Reason for that?
Believe me, I've done everything in my power to talk him out of it.
Not happy Jack wants to marry her, because she didn't build the empire herself. Yeah, that's pretty fake.
I've reached my breaking point with your fiancé. Things are about to get very ugly.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Well, I know it's something nasty, but what exactly that is? Keeping it in the shadow doesn't do much to your character right now. But we could get answers later, as this is all just kept in Kate's POV. But with full context, we might get a reasoning. One that will make it understandable.
Why don't we leave Eleanor alone, you old goat?
He really doesn't want him to bother her. Especially he used the term passive-aggressive way to say I don't like you because you don't approve me. That is wanting to marry Eleanor, as he mentioned before. Now I just want him to shut up, as he mentions her again. A way to show that Jack do like Eleanor, as he shuts his uncle down when he mentions her, with his choice of words. And now the auction begins, with Kate watching. But someone is approaching her during that.
Excuse me. Hi, excuse me.
Approached by a waiter. Or because she wears something similar to a waitress outfit. At the very least, you can just wear this waitress outfit. You can use it to distract anyone.
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
great.
I thought I was supposed to be the only one working here.
Yeah, she really is pretending to be a waitress.
Get back to work.
Excuse me, dear, would you...
Sorry, I'm not a waitress.
Consider she also pretend beforehand. It's reasonable she did it again here, but sad news for her, this backfires. Because there can only be one person working here. With the fact that this is a
black market auction?
Just having one waiter working here is fine. You would not want too much people knowing this. Especially too much waiter to disrupt the process. With all taking place in a room that puts glass bottles inside narrow hallways. All to showcase how inexperienced Kate is. And her a bit too much confidence. That's actually pretty neat. Especially the guard just let her in. Yeah, just gonna talk about that later.
Gary sent me to work here.
If you look at that again, Kate's reaction at first is shocked, as she didn't expect a one waitress thing, which I mentioned earlier that is pretty nice. So her instinct goes to something she heard before. Gary. If you don't remember when did she heard that?
Gary wants you to bring these down right away.
Just these two?
These two.
Actually listening to that again, that could be ADR.
Gary wants you to bring these down right away.
The voice is slightly different and you can't see her face.
These two.
If what she heard is really ADR, I'm glad someone noticed that. No way Kate just guesses her boss's name correctly. That would be insanely contrived. With the ADR line, this moment is better. She still heard the boss's name by just staying here for like 22 seconds. That is still a bit contrived, but consider this is a kitchen area. Name calling each other is pretty common. It's just she heard it in that moment. That might be a bit convenient. Still way better than, yeah, I just guessed the name. Continue this line.
Assuming if you want to bother Gary.
Remember just right before that?
Gary sent me to work here.
She is not confident about it at all. While she's still struggling with her voice here, is racing up to try to maintain control in the situation. Lead to her saying something she should not be saying. In line with what we established about her before, a bat led to the destruction of a clock tower. Her getting caught as a result. All of those, is she trying to hold the situation, despite she's not good enough to. I like that.
You're doing great.
You really think that works?
I told you to come down here.
Gary.
I'm Gary.
It's Gary! Yay! You seem to really care about this. But you forgot to brief the guard who should be entering. I know Kate is dressed up as a waiter. But remember,
I thought I was supposed to be the only one working here.
if it is just one specific person, why don't you tell the guard beforehand who that person is? This is a
Black market auction?
If you care about it this much, you should have briefed the guard already. I know this moment is small and doesn't seem much, but they will sometimes be put in a larger context. Like if you age Kate up. Even if it's just for 1 year, the plot will change. Kate will not be in semester, and she will be out of college and work with her mom full time. She will have spent more time with Jack, knowing about the engagement, killing her suspicion with him. Anything Jack related will not even happen, as she will trust him a lot more. And that part is some way related to the A plot. So just something seems small, doesn't mean it's not significant.
What's your name?
You see, that's the problem, Gary. You don't even know my name. You know, this is not gonna work out. I quit.
That's actually pretty neat. Kate using a quick thing to trick Gary, a skill that's established beforehand. When Kate could not unlock the door, she immediately thought of climbing up the building, or immediately know her mistakes in the arrow, right after the failure of her first shot. Good response from Kate. And anyone see a girl suddenly cry will get confused as well. That is a logical way to distract a person.
I quit.
You can't quit. Hold on.
Same as that. Handing things that need to be balanced and breakable, so she can run away. Smart! Kate managed to sneak around the auction, and lost Gary eventually. Then when she turned to her corner, she heard something. Convenient timing right there, but still. Let's listen. I don't think I can hear what they say. That should be the same for Kate. Hold on, let me turn on subtitles. Let's see again. Yeah, that's actually pretty fake. Is there more? That's really it. No one will understand what do those mean. We know it's an attack if you skip forward, but no one will ever expect that from how fake it is. That's just 30 seconds right after. You can just remove this scene, and fuck all will change. But did you notice that? That person has a gun. Does that really change anything? Kate can only see it in this angle, or she will be seen. I don't think she can see the gun in an angle like this, especially how dark inside and outside is, with the most evident being a piece of strap, which everyone would just assume is a bag, especially she also uses. And why did no one notice the guy with a machine gun? When they walk inside, did you see the area? It's like a maze, with barely anyone. All focus on the auction, and the timing is just 35 seconds apart from the assault. It is believable no one noticed that. Also, the scene is very unnecessary, but at least the contrivance means nothing. Aside maybe Kate could do more when they got out, but those are fake dialogue, and she can't really hear much, so just maybe.
We have a very special piece.
That scene is in between. Kate eavesdropping the people. One thing I forgot to put down beforehand is how did they cover the black market auction?
Charity auction.
That is how. Having a charity auction upstairs and a black market auction downstairs. Yeah, I can believe that. Now back to the scene.
An artifact recovered from the wreckage of the Avengers compound.
I have a pretty major issue with that.
You also decide to just leave all of your shit around at the wreckage of your mansion. What'd you do, just walk away?
Not that one. When Thanos bombarded the place, a lot of destructions are happening, with Clint losing a blade there, in a giant mess of a war zone, that he urged to get back to his family afterwards. That makes sense to his character, especially after losing them for 5 years.
Killing all these people isn't gonna bring your family back.
It also attacks the compound. Any reasonable person would just assume everything is destroyed already.
Wasn't that destroyed like years ago?
Well, I thought so. But I thought the same thing about your fancy outfit.
The jacket. Fair assumption it will get destroyed already. Yes, it is just a jacket, and I will talk more about that later. With everything not get destroyed dropped like dozens of stories. Not to mention the Avengers are not the ones who's gonna move boulders. It's someone else who's gonna do that. Or the government. It is never going to be the people who live there. Anyone who knows how society works will tell you that. If you go by previous movies, Damage Control are the ones who clean it up. From damages and alien tech stuff. Like after a bank fight in Homecoming. And materials still got out despite that. And you can't possibly monitor every single person who do the cleaning. The number of people who should be cleaning the compound, from this much area destructions, at the very least hundreds. And that is on top of, they won't allow you in the cleaning in the first place. Because that would disrupt their work. That is just basic economic and business shit. So the fault of this situation is not from the Avengers. And the thing I actually took issue with is, how contrived the blade is right here. Same place, same time Kate is in. That is very unlikely, isn't it? The only dialogue we got...
An artifact recovered from the wreckage of the Avengers compound.
I know where you get it. Can you tell me how you get it? Why here, why now?
Black market auction?
Yeah, I still need more. That explains why the blade could be here. But why specifically this? But not other black market auction around the world. Not even counting in this day in this specific auction. That is very contrived. But I'm gonna tweak it to make it less so. Why this specific day? Because it's almost Christmas. And they wait to this specific holiday to sell this. A piece from a legendary Ronin.
The Ronin decimated the criminal underworld of this city, almost completely annihilating the status and power of the head of organized crime.
That is a tweaking for the time stuff. As for the other stuff I will tweak, the owner of this auction saw up here from the damage control. And that's why it's in this auction. Of course, don't mention how you steal the sword and who's the owner of the auction to the buyers. Do it in future episodes. But I will not mention who is owning this auction right now, as I will talk about it more in the future. Moving on.
The Ronin decimated the criminal underworld of this city, almost completely annihilating the status and power of the head of organized crime.
That's a neat bit of world building for MCU Ronin.
Ronin brought a brutal form of justice to his victims.
What is his legacy after the snap? And what are the consequences about it? And how do people feel Ronin, with how the criminal organization got impacted by it?
And his identity continues to remain a mystery to this very day.
Given Clint's training from S.H.I.E.L.D. and his ability able to join the Avengers,
the Federales found a room full of bodies. Looks like a bunch of cartel guys never even had a chance to get their guns off.
It's probably a rival gang.
Except it isn't. It's definitely Barton.
and his knowledge and workings in New York, with how long he's been doing it.
What he's done here, what he's been doing for the last few years. I mean, the scene that he left.
I can't believe he can almost destroy the entire criminal organization in this city. From those several lines, what you can see is to give explanation about Ronan, as the Ronan is something important about this show. But we will wait to see how well he's handled in the future.
Now you can own this one-of-a-kind retractable sword.
Wait, just hold on a second. Please tell me, when is the blade retractable? As that is not the case in Endgame. I know why you made it retractable. Unfortunately, that's a retcon. I need to count it as an issue.
250, thank you, sir. Do I hear 300? 300.
He seems to like that.
I'm buying that sword.
You don't have 300 grand.
No, but I'll inherit it one day, won't I?
Really seems to. He does like swords, Also, that note to his uncle doesn't seem to like him when he's against him bidding from something he wants. Eventually, Armand wins. Jack can't buy the sword and felt upset by it, with those being seen by Kate. Then
we have lot number 309, the companion piece, the Ronin suit.
Oh god.
This is also in the compound, like the Ronin blade situation. Well, I do think this is more believable than a blade, as this is 12 stories under rubble. No Avengers can get easily, but same issue. I have one more thing.
The Ronin suit.
I wonder how many people got the wrong meaning of this. Oh my god, the assault. That really seems out of nowhere. That's what the scene is about. Setting up this to happen. Just 35 seconds apart. I can't believe that. Jack got up first. He looks around. Walk to the place the blade is in. Pick it up and steal it. That makes sense to his character. He shouldn't like swords and want to buy that Ronin blade beforehand. He even knows where the blade is. So, he will know where to pick it up when the explosion hits. And it's an explosion. For the enemies, you need to dodge all the explosive areas before you can get inside. Or else you will be really hurt by it. Not to mention the dust afterwards. All around the place, holding them to get in. Right now, enemies are in the auction, with Kate being scared and stay hidden, unknowing what to do. Where do I begin? I can believe the explosion knocked the suit to Kate's direction. But how did Kate find the suits? Because a random person knocked it over. In the angle she can see it. Not very likely to happen. And what's even worse, it's not the explosion that knocked the suit out. It's someone by accident. How is someone knocking it over stronger than an explosion? That is not how it works. And the fix of this moment isn't even hard. Kate heard what is inside the box beforehand. After the assault, she could have given a prediction where the suit is, with the suit being exposed out from the bombing, estimating where she should be crawling, so she can get the suit. Instead of this,
we've got 90 seconds to find the watch. Everything else is secondary.
That is what you want, and you have to do it quick, before the cops arrive, so only have 90 seconds. Easier to escape with just a few people. I can believe those. Kate hears the sound of people needing help. She saw the suit, one that belongs to Clint, and decided to crawl there. She holds the suit on hand. She stares at it and thinks, and why she decided to do that will be mentioned more later. But as for right now,
I need to protect us.
her reason for this situation. Makes sense from just listening to people crying for help. A line from a character who wants to protect people. Indeed a strong character moment for her.
When I put that suit on, I thought, this is it. This is the moment I become who I'm supposed to be.
That is from a future episode. Just be patient.
You showed me that being a hero isn't just for people who can fly or shoot lasers out of their hands. It's for anyone who is brave enough to do what's right no matter the cost.
I can tell you there will be much more about her, but you need to hold on. She wore the Ronin jacket. Yeah, I said jacket, and I'm going to explain it. This is how the entire Ronin costume looks like. And this is what he wore in Endgame. Spot something in the clips? Well, if you see the Ronin scenes in Endgame again, you can find the Ronin costume is missing a hoodie. The only piece of a Ronin costume in the auction. Part of the entire thing. And that is the piece Clint didn't wear in the climax of Endgame. Unlike everything else in the Ronin costume. As the jacket is in rubble.
Verschwinde noch mehr auf dem Gelände?
Which is why I said Kate only has a jacket. And that actually makes sense. With how can she put a jacket on so quickly? And if that is just a jacket, no Avengers even need to care about it from the wreckage. Also, do you remember this line?
Ronin suit.
Yep, two meanings about this. It could be the entire thing, or the thing you wear on the upper body. A jacket, if you will. Well, technically that is a but what I said is still the same. And the script didn't lie to you what is inside the box.
Hello.
That quip is something consistent and will staple on Kate, even in tense situations.
And my name's on the buzzer. Wow, didn't realize we were supposed to bring guns. You'd be lost without me, you realize that? I mean, it's Christmas Eve. Let's grab a drink.
There will be more to explore.
I thought, if he could do that, then I didn't have to be scared.
But I can see someone take issue here. Why couldn't Jack recognize her voice, as they know each other beforehand? Well, I would say, Kate just got back from semester. Haven't seen Jack for a long time already. Don't even know he and her mom are engaged. Her voice is something I forgot mostly already. with only 2 brief conversations after she's back. How many lives does he hear during those again?
Jack. Surprises are unexpected. You're engaged?
Just this number? Only a dozen words in total, by the way. He talked more with other people in the party than Kate already. Kinda hard to remember her voice here. Just to point out another thing. They are immediately interrupted by gunfire, interrupting his thought process. Not noticing her, he is reasonable. One more thing before that.
Do you know who I am?
Just another ADR line. Attempts to boost Armand's character, to make him more consistently private and overconfident. From that little edit, to justify his choices more. And now, the show's first action scene. I wonder how many things is there to talk about. After Kate cleared the door for everyone to leave, that showcases she cares about other people, and she ensures everyone left before she does. The enemies came in and shoot Kate. I don't think the timing they came is fine, but you managed to miss her from just a few meters. I mean, I get that the place is kinda dark, which could be excused a few things in the fight, but seriously? She's just standing right there. Naturally, that stops Kate running out to the door, or she'll get shot when she runs back, so she runs to the side for instant shelter. For their next move, they keep shooting at Kate when she's running away. None of the bullets hit her, which I'm fine with. The place is dark as I mentioned earlier. You heard that. And Kate is wearing the Ronin jacket, the same color as the room, and she's wearing black color pants as well, making it hard for the enemies to see her. And she is a moving target running around, surrounded by shelves filled with wine bottles, and walk around the place already. They are able to shot her is believable. Then it cuts to Eleanor left the hotel, because of the assault in the auction. First thing she do after that is to call Kate, right after trying to look for her, showing again that her daughter is the thing she cares about the most, as this is the first action she took, in something emergent. Pretty neat, but the call doesn't pick up. That makes sense. What kind of dumbass would let their phone turn on while spying in illegal places? Yeah, let's continue. That part is fine for me. Kate has done parkour and the agility of it, not to mention gymnastics that increase her flexibility. On top of ballet, remember the fact that she trained for over 10 years as well. Totally reasonable right here. Her next move. You are stupid. Why would you point a gun over her head when there are other parts you can point to? That is not smart to do, mate. But in fairness, there's nothing wrong with Kate using stealth here. It's just the other person is a moron. Let's keep watching. You're serious. After you pin her, because you lost your gun, you decided to punch the bottle. You're not even aiming at her. Why do you punch her? Just shoot her. Same issue as the person before you. Someone actually has a gun. Finally. But after he missed once, somehow hitting his hand, just shoot her again. But you fucking dawdle. And you allowed this to happen. Regardless, I do like this moment showcases Kate's skill in close range combat. She can't physically overpower them, so instead, she needs outside equipment. There is one confusion I want to clear up. Wine bottles don't break by just hitting a person's head. It is more durable than you think.
What? How? 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 Who do you work for? Who do you work for?
Great. Just pull the trigger. Get your brain check. First, let me point out something everyone will think. If you can aim her bottle, just shoot her body. Now to explain something people might think is an issue. Why did the shot not hurt Kate? The answer of that question? I will be going over the ability of the Ronin jacket in the entire MCU. In episode 5 of Hawkeye, Echo slices him with the Ronin blade in the jacket area. He is hurt by it, but only a small cut, with this part of the Ronin costume having no armor. The jacket is not even damaged. The Ronin jacket is indeed scratch-proof, and how strong is a Ronin blade exactly? In Endgame, the Ronin blade can cut a Avenger in half. They can tank explosive arrows beforehand. In Infinity War, they can tank shots from lasers and bullets. Explosion from 3 red wings. Wait, 3? You must have forgot. Some even after bomb drops. The blade is very sharp, which says a lot for a jacket in that case. It's not even the entire costume, it's just a jacket. So from what is presented, the one sharp note is nothing, and this injury is much more. If not because of this jacket, it gets inside the bone already. That's not even counting the other parts of the costume. Actually, from how scratchable and durable it is, it can even tone down physical damage. One Shamu is actually pretty pathetic, and the more I actually think about it, it makes the jacket reasonable to survive the bombing, but expect it to destroy at the same time. It's still a jacket, under all of those. Next moment, Kate runs away afterwards, and none of the bullets hit her. This time is fine, as the same reasons the last time before. But wait a minute, there's a hole behind her she can run away. Why didn't she do that? Is that unrealistic or not? Kate is constantly in an adrenaline rush right here, and she's still just a 22-year-old. It's fine she can't make all the good choices in this fight scene. She can't even give a good look at the hole, from situations she's forced into. Adrenaline rush, young age and inexperience, or reason she can't notice the hole, from almost die several times. Especially you remember other factors. She's running away randomly from gunfire before, and even did crazy acrobats. Those confuses her of the place she's in the auction. With the moment she have to make that choice, gunfire are hitting her, making the runaway a very split-second thing, for her to look and think, can't make her run to the hole. If you summarize everything in this situation, not being able to run to the hole is not unrealistic at all. Still more to go. Jack on and found Eleanor.
Where's Kate?
I don't know how to...
So that moment right there confirms that Jack really doesn't know that it's Kate, and Eleanor is still worrying about her daughter as well. Let's go back inside to see what Kate is doing. Kate sees an enemy carrying a lot of stuff, so he drops all to attack Kate. Not using any guns here is fine, in this context. So Kate jumps up to grab the pipe. The pipe is just right there. But fine as this is a basement, having pipes there is pretty common. That bit is pretty neat. Kate is good at martial arts, but she can't overpower a person without outside help. A bigger person, I mean. That she will take advantage of. A good moment to showcase her ability and her martial arts skills, without making her OP. As for the pipe off its hinge, think about it. It is a thin pipe. You can break off its hinge by keep pulling it, along with all your body mass, which is what Kate did in this situation. Not to mention the additional tension from this guy. I'm fine with that part.
Ronan?
Some people might thought, why didn't he shoot her already? But give it a little more thought first. He only did that after he confirms he's a Ronin, and this is the only time he can do that in a fight. Because besides that, she's too fast to get noticed. Or in the distance, in this dark environment, that is hard to see her. She doesn't even last long before she run away. Or they all got knocked in the head already. So really, this is the only time he can confirm. Perhaps, not from the assumptions, that they don't even believe each other. If you actually skip ahead, that's Cassie, who's leading them. The one who called them idiots. Confirming it himself is fine. He's not even a person who shoots first before asking questions. Killing before acknowledging what's happening. If you go by future episodes.
Oh God, I put that suit on because I didn't want anybody to know that I was at the office.
Oh, Maya! Bring him back alive!
Don't make me do this, Maya. He won't let that happen.
That is actually consistent. Besides one thing. Weird sound effects. It sounds like you forgot to unlock your gun, but not physically shown, or just putting his finger on the gun. Either way is a post-production sound effect. That has two cases. Forgot to unlock the gun when the fight happens, which is dumb, as it is one of the few things to learn while using a gun. The other case, it took 1.5 seconds to shoot, which is also dumb, but less so. Feel free to take a pick. Next part is pretty neat. What happened there is the enemy overpowering Kate. Remember, the Jagaton damages down, but Kate's attack don't do much on him. Only escape at the very end with a martial arts move, and which requires her full body to do so. And he still stands up right afterwards. A brief moment of fighting that shows Kate's weaknesses and abilities. And that is pretty good. But where are the tracksuits that are shooting her? Well, that I have no idea. The last part of the fight. Let's go back a little bit. The guy who arrived to Kate is dizzy. And in fact, he's holding his head. Meaning, it's the guy Kate flipped over right before Cassie arrives. His head is also on concrete. And hey, the guy is also right at that place. With so, hitting his head with a bottle, able to knock him out, is understandable. Actually, in that mental state, you can launch the bottle anywhere in the body, and it won't stop her escaping. Or just even, get close and attack him. You'll still be able to run away. The thing is, the bottle is at that angle for her to launch. That's unnecessary. If I give a little fix, I would have Kate grab the bottles around her and throw at his face. A simple tweak that makes this moment work. for a person who bonked her head on concrete. Then she jumps away to escape. But wait, isn't that the same place she got close to? Is that an issue? Actually, I can see both sides about it. It seems the place is close to her, but you have to remember, she is running away from gunfire just before. And look at here again. She's panicking from the sound of it, even running backwards to show that, as she's dodging gunfire with no sense of direction. Adrenaline rush, young age and inexperience, especially just right after from gunfire, will not make her notice it at that moment. Right before, she got distracted by an enemy, so I do see both sides here, but I really just don't see it as an unreasonable dump truck for Kate. As she leaves, the battle has ended. The fight overall is not good, but I have heard people say Kate is too overpowered here, and the fight is plot armor heavy because the tracksuits are retards. But I only agree with one of them, and you already know which one I think it is. Let me show you examples of what both of those sides means first.
Can you listen? 'Cause I've been trying to make you notice.
For the enemies being nerfed by the plot, in Doctor Who episode Blink, an episode I do highly recommend people watching it, but I will now be talking spoilers, but it will be brief, and it's the biggest issue I have with the episode. In that episode of Doctor Who, we follow both Sally and Larry trying to save the Doctor from the Weeping Angels. But the problem is, the Weeping Angels move very fast. They move away just by blinking already. Even went under the police station without anyone noticing, when they have to get past the cops from upstairs first. A speed so fast is like teleporting, so there's no way Sally and Larry will survive in the climax, for not even looking for a brief second. And both Sally and Larry are regular humans, a problem the writers have to solve. So what did Stephen Moffat do? Well, he nerfed their speed and intellect. Remember they can move from buildings to buildings if someone blinks? So now they can't even move several meters when someone turns their head around, which is slower than blinking. And they even forgot to move when neither Sally or Larry are looking at them. Which is fine for both of them right here, as this is the first time they encounter aliens and doing this. Adrenaline rush, young age and inexperience are all factors for them, and they stay in character for the entire episode. But same can't be said for the angels, when they are known as deadly assassins and live as long as a universe. That's the example of plot nerfing the villains, but not the protagonists. Now, let's look at the plot overpowering the characters. Star Trek Discovery. Do not watch that show. In Season 1, Episode 9 of Star Trek Discovery, Michael Burnham has sword fight General K. Long. Somehow. I know this fight has a lot of issues. I'm only just focusing on that one. No way in hell Burnham can sword fight. I know she's trained in Falcon.
Vulcan martial arts, huh? Susmana.
But that doesn't include sword fighting, especially against a K-Long general, which they can kill Star Trek officers in a sword fight. Same one that taught her everything. And I'm also gonna point out, King-Longs are stronger and faster than Falcons.
They're all Vulcans. They're stronger and faster than any one of us. Except for Worf.
Burnham able to sword fight, especially what she does in the very end, is out of nowhere. And the plot is overpowering her, giving her an ability she shouldn't know how to do. That's the plot OPing the main character. Now let's get back to Hawkeye. How is Kate in the fight? Her ability to parkour around and be flexible is shown in the opening credits. That is fine. Her trying stuff get noticed casually. Her close range combat is striking weak points, and she still needs outside equipment to help. And it is still just a wine ball used to swing around. Not a blade you need training first, against a opponent that is also using a blade. She needs her full body to overpower a person, or when they are clearly injured, matching her 17 years of martial arts training. That I will get to more in episode 2. Also her bottle kick. All she needs is hit any part of the person, given he's mentally unavailable. Even I can do it. Not even counting Kate has good training and aiming. And the mistakes she makes are in-character mistakes as well. And plus, the fight made people thought she is the Ronin. That has consequences that affect the story. Now let's look at the side of the enemies. They forgot how to shoot well. They decided to punch instead of using their guns. They shot at their own allies. The fight issues are totally all their fault. You give Kate a perfect environment to take advantage, a perfect suit to take more hits, and even a reason to only have little enemies.
Got 90 seconds to find the watch.
And you still decide to tone down their IQ. Yeah, I get it. It seems like Kate is too powerful here. But give the fight scene a closer look, it's the enemy's fault. And Kate really did nothing wrong. Glad we cleared this up. Going away from the fight, an enemy is collecting stolen items, and it's revealed they got the codex already. Oh look, Doggy is back! But why is it attacking him? I don't know. But kill Doggy. Kate got out and saw this, and decided to kick the person's face to save the dog. I have heard something about this.
This is one of the bad guys, but it's important to note that Kate does not know this.
Wait, how can Kate not know this?
All of the guys that were inside the building were wearing red tracksuits, which made them stand out quite a bit. However, this guy is wearing a black hoodie and black pants. Kate has never seen this guy before, no reason to believe that he's a bad guy.
No reason? Ew! This guy's right outside, in front of the whole tracksuit's blow up. That Kate used to leave, and he's just waiting outside. Anyone would have thought they are working together already. And when the hole blows up, everyone left the hotel. Besides this guy outside. Kate didn't saw them leave, to be fair. But this shit is literally human natural instinct. There's even an alarm bell. Not to mention he's much closer than the people upstairs. Might I also add, many gunshots open inside, and he's still there. There's no prank to cover this up. He should not be here if they are not working together. Unless you are a cop, which he clearly isn't. As he's just running up putting away stolen items. So many evidence to counter this.
We've got 90 seconds to find the watch.
Wearing different color is not a good enough reason. And look at this. This guy is also wearing black. Same color as his clothes. Even the color so different doesn't hold weight. Basically here, Kate has a lot of reason to attack this guy. And it's not immortal behaviors like Wanda or Sam.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
Do better.
Then the dog rush onto traffic, trap in between, and Kate saves him by doing acrobats. Which is fine, given that Kate has trained for this beforehand. I know she cracks the person's windshield, but like, that is just gravity. She didn't intentionally do this. She's doing this to save the dog.
I feel my conscience is calling.
As the tracksuits are also going after them, and they have to run away as soon as possible. One more reminder, why didn't she got hurt? The Ronin jacket she's wearing. The lab will clear this up. Why do you do this? Exposing yourself when there are people around you, right after you commit an organized crime. Just why? Do you want to expose your entire organization? Okay, I know why you did this. To remind us he will be in future episodes. But the way you did that is stupid. When you're literally exposing yourself. But what is making this worse? You fucking scream his real name 3 times. Do you guys really want to expose yourself? Even if you want to call him, just use some code names that you guys should have prepared. Like the nickname Cassie has in the comics, the Clown. The final piece of dialogue in this sequence. The enemies will be tracking Kate. That dialogue does sound like ADR. Different sound volume. That line is to set up something later. So they throw that ADR line inside. What is that? We will get there soon enough. Clint and his family got back to the hotel, having a conversation.
You were right about the tree, Dad. It was amazing.
I want one that big.
Apparently from ADR.
It wouldn't fit in our house, dummy.
Please, please, please.
But a bit of character insight here.
It wouldn't fit in our house, dummy.
Referring to this Christmas tree, the younger brother wants. The older brother is trying to show he's smart, by pointing out the obvious. Yeah, by the way.
Come on, Dad. You ordered food for like 30 people.
You're not really bright.
I can eat 3. No.
Unlike your sister.
Please, please, please.
You naive little kid, you still can't put this at home, even after you're told about it. Let's keep looking at the scene. Lila turns on the TV. 10 seconds after that, breaking news about an auction assault. Man, luckily Lila decided to turn on TV right after she got back to the hotel. But she's a kid, not really much of an issue. And equally won by social media as well. Despite that,
It's a little late for TV, guys. I've got a pack.
please cut that line. The kids might listen to you and turn it off. The news shows that someone filmed the Ronin. Clint takes a look.
Whoa, it's amazing.
Isn't that awesome, Dad?
Here's a bit of world building. Ronin killing people in New York and other places is a known fact to the public, not just people in the black market auction. That's a neat bit. Clint saw that and have a flashback of him in the past. The scene then concludes with this.
This is the first potential sighting of the Ronin in years.
Potential sighting. They are not sure is this the real Ronin, and that is absolutely reasonable. For something I haven't seen for years. Don't want to lay a finger on it too soon, as Clint become more infested by it. Later, Kate got back to her apartment with the doggy. That is nice, and the apartment is set up as well.
Yeah, I am. I was just gonna stop by my place and then come see you.
After she got back to the apartment, she said this.
What is going on with Armand? Threatening my mom and buying black market swords? Do you think he's connected to the break-in somehow?
We do know the first 2 things are true. He does in fact do both of them. The question she asked,
Do you think he's connected to the break-in somehow?
someone as inexperienced as Kate would. Also in the further dialogue,
Alright, I've got to figure out what's up with Armand.
she's only suspicious of him, not really making conclusions about it. Not accusing him just yet. Which makes even more sense. For him not to jump to conclusions, even when she's inexperienced. But how can she find him?
Alright, I've got to figure out what's up with Armand.
I got it. Right there. I can believe so. It's just phone tracking. We can talk more about that in future episodes. But before she leaves...
Pizza? You want some pizza? Okay. Have some. Go on. Yeah, go on. Where?
She fed a dog pizza.
Do not destroy this apartment.
Now I'm jealous. Kate ran across traffic and climbed up a wall when there are people here. I can't believe that's a mistake Kate would make, given how inexperienced and overconfident she is. And it is middle of the night. People not noticing her, unless actively, is completely fine. Kate got into a window, with the climbing skill established beforehand, to get into Armand's apartment. Walking down the stairs, she saw a bowl of candy, with wrapped paper with Armand's name. Keep that in mind. Walking inside the living room, there's a dead body inside. She discovered Armand is dead. Before she has other thoughts, the housewife came back. Using the opportunity of her seeing the dead body, Kate sneaks away. How she escaped is reasonable, and the housewife coming back doesn't change anything. Kate saw the report anyways, and the candy has his name on it. From a character who is proudful of himself. Like anyone can tell that it's Armand III. Kate is running away from that. When she's taking a breath, the tracksuits found her. But how did they find her? Is there also ADR? There's plenty in this episode. They go after her and they have eyes everywhere. They have 3 fans in this moment, and Cassie isn't here. I can't believe what they said. Combo with episode 2 dialogue.
The tracksuits must have followed you from the auction to where I found you.
That part is fine, especially from who they are going after.
Where are we going?
Getting further away from those people trying to kill you.
The only thing you've taught me is how to lose a tail, and I most already knew that.
That is an episode later. Kate don't know how to not get followed in this episode. She's inexperienced and overconfident, despite not being that good. In fact, a person in the bell tower sequence, where she...
Oh my god, that was amazing! Wow!
In this case... I have mentioned earlier, they can find her if they are active. And they are. Kate didn't realize she's being followed. And yeah, that makes sense to her character. They only ambush her when no one's on the streets. Very logical thing to do. Then they start to fight the Ronin. Without guns. That's kinda confusing. But when you think about it, they are trying to ambush the Ronin. Fire a gun. With some people and the cops. When some police are not even close. Defeats the purpose of an ambush. If you shot a gun in the middle of the night, way more chance than punching. Especially if you are a gangster. Unlike another movie where they intended to use guns already, then just to engage in a knife fight. Even though you don't mind using guns here, and you're willing to leave open in daylight. If you're saying the episode later, throwing Molotovs also encourages them to leave the accommodation. Doesn't just mean killing. And even more later, killing is not what they want. Walden said this first, but we can talk more about that in the future. But back to this episode. Then they fight. One at a time. Look at this. They are just standing. What a bunch of dumbass. Yeah, the Ronin jacket toned down damages. Kate needs her full body to cause major injury. You get the drill already. Look at these 2 moments. This is a small dude. Kate knocking for a moment is fine, without the need of full body. But take a look at that guy behind her. He's just hugging Kate, and nothing else. At least choke her to the point of unconscious or something. Not hug to the point Kate can nut shot you, and the person in front. But I do appreciate, Kate requires a nut shot to hurt this guy, then her full body strength, in order to hurt 2 enemies. Consistent. Kate runs away from the fight, trying to find a car, so she can get in. That's in character mistake. Adrenaline rush, young age, and inexperience are factors for her. It's reasonable to find a place to hide when someone is attacking you. But lucky the car isn't locked. She locks the car doors, protecting herself, but she has no place to run. A tracksuit is able to smash a glass, eventually. What's happening? A guy beat up 3 enemies easily, pull Kate out of the car into an alleyway, took off her mask.
Come on! Your timing is perfect, ironic to me. Showing up the moment that you shouldn't be.
Very lucky. Arrived just on time to save Kate. Just after the window is smashed. How did you even manage that? Clint being able to find Kate? I mean, yeah, I guess. He is SHIELD agent, knows a lot about this city, in order to decimate the criminal empire. Even given the location of the attack,
when it went off at Park Avenue and 68th Street tonight.
He could find clues to track Kate down, but there's no definitive answer right here. At the same time, given Clint's reputation, I can't believe Clint can do this. The issue is still, this is perfect timing to save Kate's life, putting in a contrivance to progress the story forward.
You're a Hawkeye.
And who the hell are you?
Can you see me? 'Cause I'm right here.
We finally covered everything of this episode. At this point, let's summarize it. Most of the things of this episode is driven by contrivances that pushes the plot forward, only having occasional moments of cause and effect. I know the fact that some plot points of this episode have their issues plugged by future episodes. It is certainly a positive, but there are still plot issues remaining, hurting the episode. Also the plot armor. Even a Roland jacket doesn't get away with everything. You still have to get to episode 5 to know that. They set up a plotline of who killed Armand. You know, the old man who has a bit of character traits, but still not enough for us to care about him. We can explore this plotline in future episodes. I will be taking a lot of time to do so. The plot is not good, and you might even call it bad. But what is holding the episode together? Our characters. We understand a lot about Kate in this episode. We got a lot about her strengths and weaknesses, even knowing what she wants, and relationship with her family. Good starting point for Kate. Not because I like Hailee. I mean I do, but you know.
I think in the back of Kevin's mind, he had Hailee as Kate. He actually just said, let's meet Hailee. Let's just have a conversation with her and see how that goes. And I remember after the conversation, Kevin just offered her the role right then and there. So that was pretty remarkable that we came out of that meeting shaking her hand and going, okay, you're in, you're gonna play Kate Bishop.
You might be wondering why I'm holding pom-poms. Well, let me tell you. I was a cheerleader.
She's perfect. There's also Clint with his family, the Avenger we all know and love. Spending time with them during Christmas, building upon information we know already, which is a good starting point. From how much he cares about his family, to dealing with the death of his best friend, Natasha Romanoff, all set up for future payoffs. Episode 1 has more Kate than Clint. I mean, yeah, Kate is one of the main focus and you need to introduce her first. The trailer didn't lie to you about it, by the way. But Clint will have more screen time in future episodes. We will be spending time to explore it.
Then we get to the second episode where not much happens. First 2 episodes are really all about taking 2 steps forward, then 5 steps back. This one slows to an absolute crawl. The bad in this series, the entire second episode was unnecessary. That could have been dealt with in 5 minutes.
Those are character setups and developments. How are those unnecessary? And they are just a few out of all the times he said it.
Shit.
There's a lot to talk about in the future in depth. One thing I need to make it clear. I'm not attacking him personally, I'm just talking about his points. And I'm all for shitting on Disney Plus, for how bad both of their shows and movies are. Not just Marvel.
I've been so fucked up, it's bad for my heart.
But if they did something right, they did it right. I need to be fair about it. I won't say episode 1 of Hawkeye is good, but it isn't bad. For how much those character moments hold it together. I hope Phase 4 Marvel will get better from here. I'm counting on it. But before I go, I want to thank Non-Linear Time for the help. Link is right below.
If you're attempting to embarrass me, you won't succeed.
And thank Red Devil for the big help. Link is also right below.
Do you want to see these puppies or not?
I will be seeing you next time.